Welcome to my review for Doctor Who The Eternity Clock. Yeah, because you feel like you spend an eternity watching the clock waiting for it to end. Okay, so you may have guessed that I'm not really a big fan of the game, which is too bad because I was really looking forward to it. And the gameplay itself could have been passable if it wasn't for everything else that's holding it back. But before I get to that, let's talk about the gameplay. So it's set up kind of like a puzzle platformer in a 2.5D environment. But the platforming isn't anything challenging as far as platformers go. And the puzzles aren't the type of puzzles I was hoping for. I was hoping for those old school point and click, gotta make things match together and figure out how things work to get to new areas and solve problems. But the puzzles are actually more like mini puzzle games instead.
Oh, it's a button! I like buttons.
Where there's an actual picture puzzle that you have to turn and line up the images, or one where it's almost a rip-off of the old game Pipeline in a way, or even maybe a little bit like that hacking mini-game that was in BioShock if you played that one. So unfortunately the gameplay was a little bit uninspired, which is not a word that should be associated with anything related to Doctor Who. I remember the game developers promising that it would be like you're in the middle of an episode of the show, which isn't uncommon for the developers to do whenever it's a game based on a TV show. And like most of those other games, this one kind of failed at that. At least I felt it did. I don't ever remember the Doctor in the show trying to make a little ball move from the outside of a circle to the inside of a circle while trying to avoid other dots that are coming at you. And as far as the story goes, it's kind of thin if you're trying to make it seem like it's an episode of a TV show. Sure, they have lots of popular aliens. I mean, the Daleks make an appearance, of course. As do the Cybermen, and the Silence, and the lizard people. I forget their name. But I also remembered them saying that there'd be a whole new race of aliens that you're up against. And I played the game. I don't remember ever seeing them. So if someone else has played it and you can point out to me what I missed, please let me know. So the gameplay is kind of bleh, and the story is kind of but I still could have got into it, and I still could have enjoyed playing it the way I played it, which was with my wife, and we played co-op, where I played the Doctor and she played River Song, and just the idea of playing a game that's Doctor Who and we get to play together, would have been enjoyable enough in itself. If it weren't for the game's biggest problem, and that is it's broken. And I'm surprised I got as much video recorded as I did without any major issues coming up. Maybe it's more something that happens with co-op play than it does with single player. But there was errors and bugs and just poor camera angles throughout the whole thing. I mean, with co-op, you do get a little bit less screen space, but that makes it very hard to see when bad guys are coming, and as stealth plays quite a big role in this, you really do need to be able to see where you're going. And the save points, in many cases, are really far apart. And then maybe the game will crash, as it did several times throughout our course of playing the game. At one point it happened right before a save point, one of those really long, spaced out save points. And boy, oh boy, did we ever feel like we wasted our time getting to that point. And because of some troublesome camera angles and these bugs that keep the game from progressing or just crash and reboot my system altogether, this is what puts it in the bad game category for me and just makes everything else seem so much worse. It was $20 not well spent. And they leave it with a cliffhanger. So that suggests, of course, that there'll be another installment to this game. Well, I never want to play that installment. So I guess I have to wait till it comes out and someone beats it and posts the ending on YouTube until I can figure out what the whole point of me playing the first game was. Doctor Who, The Eternity Clock on PS3. definitely not worth your time.
Who designed this place? Escher?